At long last, Eden Zero is back after that golden week because let's be frank, it took forever. Although sometimes we don't have the right to complain seeing that we got two chapters at once. We are now heading into a new arc. I have no idea what it is about, but we may get into the arc of what I prefer to call the fortune teller arc or something like that. Maybe that's not the name of it all. But the gang of Eden Zero is assembled, but they now only lack Valkyrie. But there is an opponent in their thread. Yes, that is Drakenjo, as well as another person. We all knew he was fishy, because yes, it's confirmed he is fishy here. But are we saying that he may be the main antagonist of this arc? No, that's unexpected. Oh yeah, and by the way, a big spoiler for this entire Spider died this episode. And let's just say, that's the one thing I can praise Drakenjo for. He was obnoxious. Not that it was a bad written character, he was just, well, hateful. Although I would prefer if he had died in a more painful manner or something like that. Or regardless, Eden Zero chapter 43, the angry enemy found the despair. You were here. Here we see more of Drakenjo's personality. And he seems to be a man obsessed with money. But that doesn't mean he is, well, not dangerous. Either way, it turns out that once upon a time, Spider didn't fix his computer, and Spider says that you told we were brothers from then on. But of course, Drakenjo doesn't remember, because how does he remember someone like that? So either way, he has placed a mouth on someone named Mr. Mary Morrison, who was loaned 200 million Gree, but must pay 5 million, but has not gotten that. So Drakenjo is the kind of man that says, if you don't get the things you borrow, you need to return them. And then it shows his ether gear, because yes, it is confirmed he has an ether gear. Let's just face it, everyone who is a superpower has an ether gear. However, his ether gear is actually slightly interesting, because this is something that you do not realize immediately. And you have to go a little bit on the internet, or perhaps if you're smart, then you realize it immediately. I did not realize this immediately, okay? I am not smart. It's not exactly confirmed what his ether gear does. But the easiest way to explain it is that he has placed a bottle in Mary Morrison's mouth. As he touches it, it suddenly gets extremely heavy, like he changes the weight on it. But it's not like Shiki's gravity, it's not like Shiki's gravity thing like that. Because he's basically saying that it is made out of Guild's heaviest metal Drummel. Cool, and it felt just like glass just a second ago. So it seems that it can change the density of a metal into something, making something that is very heavy extremely light. Very much implying that maybe he is packing metal onto him that is heavy if he chooses it. And do you know what I mean? I said if you did a little search. Actually, alchemists are usually said to be people that can change metal, like a piece of metal into gold or something like that. So I think that is why he's called the Dark Alchemist, because he can change the prosperities or whatever, of metal and iron. That's what it is. So either way, he crushes the glass and breaks every single teeth in Mary's head, but saying that he's not gonna kill him, because if he's killing, he can't get his money, and he's apparently a drawer. But he does not spare his life so mercifully, and well, because now he's gonna become a lab rat for some new drug or a coal miner in a rotten star. As he's then dragged away by his one of his assistants, who is discriminating against, because apparently saying that the guy says, President, your remarks were discriminatory towards the citizen of the planet Pygmoria. I guess that suggests that there's actually a planet that have pig-like aliens. Huh? Wonder if we're ever gonna see that. So he clearly is racist towards Pygmoria, because he's even saying that's because your wife is one of those ugly big-ass pig-looking folk. So yeah. So either way, he drags away Mary, as we are introduced to Drakenjo's, interests, so to speak. And here's something interesting. Uh, every single one of them has a last name. You know, normally people don't really have a last name in this world, but we're introduced to the cowboy robot Seth Anderson. I can swear that Seth Anderson sounds somehow familiar. We're introduced to the guy who looks a lot like Luxus from Fairy Tail, although a little bit more grimy, and that's saying something. Diego Reyes. And finally, the sexy girl who has stretching powers, Maria Slime. I guess that is implying that her powers are more based on slime stretching than rubber stretching, whatever. So after that, he decides to talk to Spider, but he is not praising him for everything else, as the assistant is revealing that he knows what the Demon King ship is as it's Eden Zero. And of course, Draken Yo is saying that you were wrecked and now you came back crying to me. And saying you got owned by those scum and then you told me my name and came back defeated. I make a living off this name. You know what that means, right? I don't really know exactly what that means, but Draken Yo is feared all over across the universe. But I guess it means that he may be targeted. But yeah, Draken Yo is the next antagonist that needs to die, or at least fall down. It's gonna be so satisfying when he does. People are already suggesting that maybe he will be Shiki's first real opponent. And if he is Shiki's first real opponent, then at least don't make him lose. I mean, Shiki. At least make Shiki struggle a little and then defeat this arrogant man. Because he then says to Seth to do it. And suddenly Spider is shot without even realizing. Because it turns out Seth's power is literally a quick draw. He can draw so fast and shoot that you don't even notice. Makes me wonder if he is going to be an opponent of Rebecca. Well, probably not. Rebecca is a good shooter, but it's never been stated if she can, quick draw. So either way, it seems that with that, Spider is gone because after all, he didn't have any money. So, but Draken Yo still decides to find more information about Eden Zero because it smells like money. So yeah, this is basically Draken Yo's personality. He is only obsessed with money. Yes, it may seem a little bit underwhelming for such a diabolical villain, but apparently that's why guilds. No, wait, what's it called? No, not guilds. That was another thing. After all, no, damn it! I already forgot what the name of that planet was, even though I read it earlier today. Whatever. He was the one who turned the tree planet into a criminal organization, but he did that because he turned it into a profit thing for himself, and now he has lost a lot of things, and he's trying to restart. In a way, Draken Yo is more vulnerable now than before. Elsewhere in Eden's Zero crew, they are all eating together, as Hermit still apologizes, but Chiki is of course saying it doesn't matter. And they're all eating. It's worth noting that they're all eating junk food. But now they need to track down. A Valkyrie, and it's revealed that one reason why Homura was in the guild was because, well, she heard about someone named Sister there, and a lot of information went over there. But Hermit mentions that a lot of information going on the web, because it turns out that actually Sister used to work for the guild as well. The guildmaster's name is Noah, and he gave her a lot of work, but he has never trusted the guildmaster, especially since the beekeepers that were kidnapped, but they didn't know. But she don't know why a guy like him would be targeted. So either way, that the planet name was Guilds. So that was. So Sister even suggests that maybe it was Guildmaster Noah that managed to get Sister out of the way because she got a mission that trapped her in Noah. So Shiki proclaims that if a guy mess with both Rebecca and Sister, I can't let this guy go, and they have to find Valkyria. But then Hermit suggests something else, that if they cannot ask the Guildmaster, who is later revealed to not be who we suspected he is, or maybe we suspected it, she suggests they are going to the legendary fortune teller of the Sakura Cosmos, someone who may be able to guide where Valkyrie is. And according to sister in extremely bad language. Well, she talks with Oda, so it makes sense that apparently this guru or fortune teller can detect the past, the present, and the future. And that person resides in Mildeen, the planet of time, a planet that is stuck in time. Once again, we are getting into time, people. This is getting interesting. As I said before, time is a strong theme in Eden Zero. The chronophage eat time. Xiao Mei says that time doesn't mean much. The robots are timeless because they don't age. And now a planet that is stuck in time. And the chronophage. There probably is not a connection, but I'm still wondering something is not right here. But we'll see that later. Either way, the chapter ends with we're finally seeing the Guildmaster Noah, who is indeed the real reason why. No, not the real reason. Who is indeed connected to guilds, because it turns out that Drakenjo had contacted the Shooting Star Guildmaster Noah Gleanfield a long time ago, and so he is also a member of Drakenjo's empire. Very likely, it's actually that's how a lot of the girls was caught as well. This Guildmaster recommended merchandise to the false sister, and perhaps even sent away the real sister on that mission because he knew the false sister wanted the power. Either way, it's for some reason Drakenjo is contacting him because he wants to know about Eden Zero. But Noah just says that information will be a bit pricey as the chapter ends. So yeah, we all suspected the Guildmaster was not a good person, and indeed he is not. So the question is, who is the new antagonist of this upcoming arc? Is that Noah or is it Drakenjo? In fact, now that Drakenjo has killed Spider, why does he want to target Eden Zero? He says it smells like money. But why? Well, who knows? All I know is, Drakenjo, you're going down. And so does that Guildmaster, because you do not mess with Cheeky's friends. But now a planet stuck in time, a fortune teller. Why do I have a feeling that fortune teller would tell something else? You know, that fortune teller actually reminds me of someone else from Hiro Mishima's work. Anybody read Ravemaster? There was a, I don't recall exactly what it was called, but there was a town full of these, sunflower faces that Haru hated because after all it was that annoying thing that was stuck on his wall. One of them was apparently a sage that could detect fortune, and he predicted the gang of that time's future, although in vague things, but every single one of his came true. So maybe there will get some information there. We may get some information that we may not want to hear. Either way, glad Eden Zero is back, setting up here. Goodbye, Spider, you won't be missed. And what do you think of the alchemy changing ether gear? Give me your thoughts if you have any.